Club tomorrow evening in Wellington City. Congratulations to Sam and also Jen, who are off to go along and check it out. $15 on the door, by the way, if you didn't get a freebie or you don't know Sam or Jen. Yes, have a good time tomorrow evening. Kicks off around about 9 p.m. 14 minutes past 9. Let's talk high tech, suckling on the teat of tech as it is with Paul Brislen at Paul Brislen on Twitter. G'day there, Paul.
Good morning, how are you?
Good. Talking high-tech stories, and the first big story of the week, I'm struggling to make any kind of sense of it or why they've gone and done it, but Google spent a lot of money, dropped a lot of money on Motorola.
They have $12.5 billion US, not New Zealand dollars, US dollars, which is what, that's about $3.50 New Zealand,
yes.
Just currently. Yeah. Poor, bless. Oh, bless. What they're doing is buying Motorola's mobile business, and you're distracting me again with this giant picture of me. It's really quite frightening. It's basically as a deterrent against patents. They're buying Motorola's business primarily to get their hands on 17,000 patents.
Right.
That relate to cell phone development. And if there's any single action that spells out how stupid software patents can really be, not all of them, of course, but in particular instances, then this is really it. They're doing it as a defensive move because they're suing Apple, Apple's suing them. Some of the handset makers, HTC, for example, are being sued for a breach of patent laws. And we're not talking about patents or regarding anything in particular and anything special. We're talking about patents that should never have been granted. Things like the use of a touch screen rather than buttons. This kind of level of stuff. It's back to the old, I've patented clicking the mouse. And one of the big arguments about software patents is that while you can patent inventions, software is basically not an invention. It's a business process. If this, then that. If that, then something else. And in order to patent that, of course, you end up creating this kind of crazy world where you can, in fact, patent things like touching a touch screen to make something happen on your phone. Yeah.
Next, they'll be patenting breathing. No, you can't. Well, you can't breathe. I've got a patent on that.
You owe me money. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Yeah.
I've patented flying, and so that really the problem, much like copyright, the problem is not with patents itself. It's with how the patents have been assigned and how some of the items that have been patented really shouldn't have been patented at all.
All right.
And I think a lot of this carry on with Motorola, $12.5 billion is their biggest acquisition ever, and it's a huge amount to pay for a company that makes handsets. In effect.
But should we be surprised that it's Motorola? I mean, I can't remember the last time. I mean, I've never owned a Motorola phone, but I can't remember the last time I even saw a Motorola phone. I mean, at the moment, it's Apple, it's Samsung,
right.
Nokia, still somewhere in there, and Sony Ericsson.
Yeah,
we're a Motorola in the scheme of things.
The new guys, HTC
yes.
and ZTE out of China, and these kinds of
LG as well. Yeah.
LG, they're doing huge things as well. And the reason for that is that it's not really about the phones and the ability to make phones, it's about the patents. And Motorola's got the lion's share of patents in this area, primarily because they were the first cell phone maker back in the day.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of this stuff patented. Everybody else is having to use their patents and license stuff from them. And it really does protect Google's investment in the Android operating system.
Okay. All right, moving on to a more of a local story. The Rugby World Cup, of course, come screaming up really, really fast, and people were wondering what visitors were going to do with connectivity with the high cost of roaming on mobile networks. Well, a solution has been found: free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi. Who would have thought it, eh? So, yes, the Auckland City Council is offering free Wi-Fi using Tommy Zone's network. But supported by Local List, New Zealand Post subsidiary. So they will be offering free Wi-Fi in sort of bursts in and around the city. I think you get 3 connections a day for any particular device that's connecting to your network. And this is a very good sign. Hopefully there will be Wi-Fi coverage out at the stadium, so that people will be using Wi-Fi rather than the cell phone networks when they take the photo of the winning try being scored and try and email it to their friends or post it to their Facebook page.
The areas they've got listed here is Kingsland, Queen Street, Britomart, Queen's Wharf, Lower Parnell, Northern Ponsonby Road, Mount Eden Village, Onehunga, and certain rugby training areas and transport hubs.
Right, but not by the sound of that Eden Park itself. So it's good, and being able to offer tourists access to this kind of thing. I'm still amazed at the number of venues that you turn up at and they don't have Wi-Fi at all. And that is, it's not uncommon. You still find hotels having conferences, tech conferences, no Wi-Fi coverage at all. And it seems to be that some of the venues need to catch up with the customers and the way they're using things.
Yeah, but the question is, though, I mean, with this copyright law that's just been introduced, with free Wi-Fi networks, people could be downloading anything. They could be downloading the next Torchwood episode.
Do that.
Yeah.
Who would do that?
Who would do that? Are they going to have problems?
Well, this is an interesting question, and it would appear that perhaps they won't. I was talking yesterday in Wellington with someone from the City Council who said that they are excluded from the Copyright Act quite clearly because they're offering an internet connection of a transient nature, so you don't necessarily know who the people using the network will be. And she was quite adamant that this is part of the law, that all transient networks, so if you've got a free wireless connection at your cafe or a city council offering it, that you cannot be held accountable as the account holder for anything that happens on that account.
Okay.
Now I'm having a rummage through the Act right at this moment, trying to find this.
Yeah.
I'm no lawyer, so it's proving to be quite an uphill struggle, and I haven't found it so far. But she was quite sure that they had legal advice that was the case in point, which begs a couple of questions. First of all, if that's the case, then we've got a big hole in the middle of the Copyright Act, which makes the rest of it kind of even more of a mockery. And secondly, why is it that nobody knows about this? And why is it that whenever we say this will be the end to libraries offering free Wi-Fi and that kind of thing, nobody from the MED or Ministry of Justice or the Copyright Tribunal ever stands up and says, you don't have to worry about that. It's all covered in the Act.
Very good point.
There's a huge lack of information coming out of the government about this, and I think that's quite disastrous.
And if this loophole is there, let's just say I'm downloading an episode of Breaking Bad on BitTorrent. I eventually get the letter. I could then turn around and say, or even after the 3 strikes or whatever, I end up going to the tribunal, then turn around and say, actually, I'm providing a free Wi-Fi network to my community, to my neighbourhood.
Well, I wonder if that's what you can do. And I'm looking through the Act at the moment. As I say, I haven't found this thing yet. It could well be that it's not there and that the city councils will have to rush to protect themselves another way. But if it is there, then, what are the requirements? How do I prove that I am offering a network to passers-by? Yeah. Can I do that as an individual, or do I have to be an organisation of some kind? It's really quite an interesting concept, and I wonder just where it's going to lead. Really.
I can see all these companies being registered around the country called the Free Wi-Fi Company. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes. Yeah. Akarana Avenue Wi-Fi for all comers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why not? It's that kind of level, and that really does spell out just how ill thought out this Act is. I've been having discussions with various people over the last few months about it. I've got no problem with copyright itself. If you create some work, you should be able to sell it. I've got no trouble with that. The problem here is with their business model, which says, we're not going to make it available to you. However, if you try and access it, we will criminalise you and fine you and potentially cut you off from the internet.
Yeah. Exactly.
Seems quite remarkable. Yeah.
All right. Well, we look forward to hearing more about that potential wrinkle in the legislation over the next week or so. Paul,
Yes.
thanks so much for chatting to us once more, and we can continue the conversation on Twitter, twitter.com/Paul Brislen. See you next time.
Thanks very much.